My name is Hayley Parks, and I am a program manager here at LeagueSpot. Gaming and esports means so much more than just a hobby or a pastime. It's always been something that's part of my life. I've had a controller in my hand since I could remember. I've always played all the mainline Pokemon games. When I was 8 or 9, I got a PlayStation 2 for Christmas, and I really fell in love with playing video games. Not only that, but more than just a hobby, I was on my college esports team, and I worked through the leadership team there, and it taught me that esports is a lot more than just gaming, and that was the pathway to me making a career out of something that I love. And now, because of gaming and the opportunities in esports, I get to do what I love every single day. Really simply, just being treated equally and being on an even playing field with other members of my community and in my career circle, especially in esports and gaming. There is a stigma that women are not as educated or as experienced in video games, and that couldn't be farther from the truth, especially when it comes to things like Pokemon, or like I'm a really avid RPG fan. I would be really hard-pressed to find someone that put more hours into Skyrim than I did. But you wouldn't assume that just looking at me. And I think those assumptions are part of the issue, is that you look at someone and you think, traditionally, this person is supposed to be A, B, and C, and they might have all of this really awesome hidden knowledge that you're unaware of. So for me, women's equality is just taking out those stigmas and taking away that traditional, I expect you to be A because you're B, and really just giving everybody an equal opportunity and playing field to show their skills, not just in esports, but in life in general. It's really hard to be a shot caller and a leader if the people behind you don't respect you for something as silly as the way that you sound. I'm sure a lot of women can relate. You know, you join a Valorant lobby and you go to make a call out, and now the game is ruined because other people are upset there's a woman in their game. Or when you go to take charge and you try to redirect someone in a meeting, you are not seen as a strong leader or dedicated to the schedule. You're seen as bossy and argumentative and nitpicky, when a man that did those things would be considered a very good leader. So there's a lot of negative stigmas behind women in leadership, and that you have to be kind of mean, abrasive, bossy to be a leader as a woman. And I think those things just aren't true. I think that a woman in a leadership position can be just as uplifting and supportive as anybody else in a leadership role, both in and outside of the game. Simply just embracing my femininity in the gaming space. I feel like a lot of women can relate to feeling like you can't play with a, girly looking character or a pink skin without people, knowing that you're a female behind the screen and then treating you differently. I don't care what those people think about me, and I don't care what they think about somebody else who does that. I'm going to play the character that I want to play with the skin or the color palette that I want to play with. I am here, I am in the game, I am a woman, and I belong here just as much as anybody else. And with that being said, uplifting other women to do the same. Don't be afraid to put on that skin that you think is really pretty because you're afraid you're going to get hate online, because you might get someone, like me or another woman in your game, oh my gosh, your skin is so cute. And now you've created a friendship and you've connected online. And building a community of strong and passionate women gamers is how we kind of make our mark on this industry. And, we show we are here. We do not care if you don't like it. And we have a seat at the table just the same as anybody else. First things first, those feelings are valid. The anger, the frustration, sometimes even the resentment you feel towards the person who treated you poorly is really valid. And I spent a lot of time trying to talk myself out of feeling that way and pretending that I didn't care about it. But step one is feeling those emotions and knowing that they're valid and that it's okay to be frustrated or upset about someone treating you that way. It's really important to make sure that you are aware of your surroundings and then evaluate the situation. To act accordingly. For example, if somebody in passing made a comment that didn't really sit right with you, but it's someone that you never have to see again, is it worth your time, your energy, and your effort if it's just someone you saw in passing? But on the other end of that, is it a pattern? Is this someone that you have to communicate with regularly and is consistently making comments, remarks, or doing things that make you uncomfortable and unable to perform at your best? And if that's the case, I would say document everything. Make sure that you have a paper trail and that you have all your facts in order. And then you take it to a trusted member of leadership, whether that's your job, your community, wherever you might be. Make sure that you take it to someone who is trusted and you bring that information to them so that they can handle it appropriately. And just remember that when people say things or they do things like that based off of something as trivial as your gender, their goal is to make you emotional and to get a rise out of you. So take a deep breath, sit with it, feel how you feel about it, but don't let that person win by getting you upset and ruining your day over it. Because at the end of the day, somebody else's perception of you does not change the fact that you are valid, you are hardworking, and you are where you are for a reason. Nobody can take that away from you. Somebody could make comments about women in gaming and how not valid they are, and that wouldn't change anything about my position in the industry and how I feel about my own success and accomplishments. So always make sure you're in a safe space, evaluate the severity and the frequency of that behavior, and then take it to somebody you trust to escalate farther when needed. Be present and bring awareness to these situations when they happen. I'm super fortunate to have a really tight-knit group that I work with. I have people who will advocate for me if I find myself in that situation and are a trusted person to work through those emotions and those feelings with. If you're in the room and you see something being said or being done that feels discriminatory, uncomfortable, anything like that, bring awareness to it. Call it out and say something. By being present and being active and letting everybody else in the room know this behavior is not okay, you can be a positive force in changing culture. And sometimes maybe even you can change that person's perspective. And if we all take this mindset, it's a trickle-down effect. If we bring that into our day-to-day lives, our professional lives, even our gaming lives, you see someone who's not doing too well in the game, people start talking about, oh, it must be a girl, look at her pink skin, look at this, speak up, say something. Hey man, like why does it matter what color her skin is? Why does it matter whether it's a boy or a girl or just having a rough game? Like just play the game. And 9 times out of 10, that gets a lot of the chatter to stop. They're looking for an emotional response and they're looking for a rise out of the person that they're targeting. If you shut it down before it gets an opportunity to escalate to that point, it's not fun for the people who are doing that anymore, and they'll leave them alone. And I mean, hopefully, maybe in some cases, it even changes their perspective on the way that they behave, and maybe they correct that behavior later on. But at the end of the day, if you speak up and you show that you're not going to sit by and watch it happen, and everybody starts to follow suit and does this, not only the gaming community, the professional community, but just day-to-day life in general can improve for everyone.